Hey, it's Sergey, and I'm here to talk with you about software engineering interviews. Specifically, the one completely inane, nonsense, worst indicator of job performance part of the interview, period. Which part is that? That's leet code. Thing is, if you've done any software engineering interviews, you know that your phone screen is leet code question. You go out, you put out your resume to all these different companies, and you get a few interviews, and inevitably, one of the first steps you have to do is do a leet code style question. That's usually your phone screen. And guess what? That's everyone. But after doing it, you're like, well, I solved this algorithm question. But gee, I wonder, am I going to be solving algorithm questions like that on the job? Maybe this job is really technically savvy, and they really need that expertise in algorithms that the leet code style question showed them. No, no one cares. Not in that aspect, anyways. The leet code style question is very much not representative of job performance, and the software industry as a whole knows that. So why the hell do we use it? Why is the whole software industry, and now anyone who's recruiting technical talent, why do they use this? Why do they use this style of question if it's not indicative of job performance? Well, to sum it up, big tech started using it. All of big tech started using it. And then the rest of the industry caught on, and they're like, as the diaspora of technical talent went out from big tech and to the rest of the companies, everyone's like, all right, yeah, if big tech did it, chances are these are a good qualifier to understand, are we hiring talent like big tech? So in fact, it became a de facto standard in the industry, which is a hidden benefit, which is actually a really awesome thing because it's a transparent requirement across the industry to get into software engineering. For any software engineering position, you can expect a leet code style question. So if a junior engineer starts off and is applying to a small company, chances are there's leet code style question. If you're a senior engineer applying to big tech, chances are you're going to have a leet code style question. But so apart from everyone knows that it's a thing, could there be any other arbitrary requirement for that could fulfill the same thing? Possibly, but the leet code style question does have a few benefits. Specifically, what can the leet code style question tell your employer about you, about the qualities that you will bring into the job? Fair question. So let's say if you can't solve a leet code style question, if you have a lot of trouble with it, what does that tell your interviewer? If I was the interviewer, I'd say, oh man, this candidate didn't come prepared. Dang, that's really unfortunate. Maybe they'll prepare, and next time that might start to be a good fit. So if you prepare, then you have a better shot of passing leet code style questions in the interview. If you don't prepare, then that telegraphs to your employer that you're not able to put in the work. You're not willing to put in the work. You're not willing to put in the work to solve these tiny, tiny problems that, on the face of it, are pretty inconsequential. They're you spend a few hours learning how to solve this one type of problem, and then you're clear. But if you're not willing to put in the, admittedly, probably 100 hours or so of effort to solve all these leet code style questions, and there's resources to do it. There's resources, there's books about how to succeed at the software engineering interview. If you're not willing to put in the time and effort to read them, to practice those questions, even online, then what does that tell your employer? That would tell your employer that once you're on the job, then you're unlikely to put in the work to solve the incremental problems that will come up on the job. So if the LeetCode style question is about this much of a problem, and the employer has this much of a problem, would they have confidence in someone who's not able to solve this problem in solving this problem? And by the way, employers have problems about yay big and bigger if you are up for solving them. So that's part one. A LeetCode style question telegraphs to your employer your dedication, your work ethic, and your ability to prepare to achieve the goals that you are aiming to achieve. In this case, getting the job. In the employment case, solving problems for your employer. That's really the primary thing that a LeetCode style question screens for. There's some ancillary benefits. There's some other benefits that you can show your employer, potential employer, through that interview that otherwise you may not be able to. So let's say one, work ethic and preparation. 2 is communication. In a LeetCode style question, that's going to look like, are you able to talk about the problem that you're solving? Are you able to communicate what you're thinking about as you're solving the problem so that your interviewer may be able to ride along and perhaps help you along with the problem as you're solving it? And that's perfectly normal. You're doing your coding question and you're talking through it, and then your interviewer might say, what about this piece? And you can be like, oh, interesting, I didn't think about that. Let me consider it. Oh, yada, 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 yada. So what that tells you, so how does that apply to on the job? On the job, a big part of software engineering is talking to people. Some places you don't have to talk to people as much, and in others, communication is a very heavy part of the work process. It's important to get aligned and important to be able to solve problems together. If you can't do that during a coding interview, chances are it's a poor signal, admittedly, but if you are able to communicate during an interview and solve problems together, then that's a pretty good indication that maybe at work you'll also be capable of doing that. And that's actually a really positive signal for an employer, for especially a teammate who's considering, would I want to work with this person? Yeah. The third and probably the simplest thing that a LeetCode style question shows is, can you write in the language that you said that you can write in? If Java's on your resume, can you write in Java? If Python's on your resume, or if you said that you can write a coding question in Python, can you do it? Do you have basic fluency in the language? Do you know the basic abstractions? The basic dictionary, array, string, number, and the kind of operations that you can do on those? Yeah, really core, basic, tiny things. But a LeetCode style question starts to expose that. Part of it is, again, LeetCode specific, but another part of it is, do you know the language? Do you have this readily accessible in your brain? Again, preparation. What does that mean on the job? If you're on the job and you have to look up every single one of these basic operations, you might be missing like core abstractions in the language that will make your job like 10x easier. If you don't know what's already in the language, you might reinvent the wheel multiple times only to realize that the language already supports the stuff that you wrote. That's definitely the case in Python, but there's in even JavaScript, Java, and other languages, definitely the case. So knowing that, what does LeetCode questions give you? What does the LeetCode question tell your employer? 1, you're willing to put in the work. 2, you're able to communicate. And 3, you know some fundamentals of the language. And now, once you've prepared and you have interviews lined up, the LeetCode-style question is your initiation. Welcome to the software industry, and good luck. Wish you well. See you next time. Sergey.